All right, I'm here with George Mason, head coach Kim English. Appreciate the time. I know it's a busy time of year for sure. I just want to talk about, looking at this year. You guys matched the program best for A10 league victories. You reached that 20-win milestone. Huge improvement from your first year. Just kind of looking back, I don't know how much time you've had, but what are you most proud of with this group, with the improvements and the strides you guys made?
Yeah, I'm most proud of the run they made at the end. We won seven straight because it was more than just the results of those games. The group really bought into, what it takes to be successful at this level. You have to defend, you have to be incredibly tough, you have to play hard, and you have to play together. We became a really disciplined team. And all that was in the face of a lot of stuff throughout the season. We the rotation, the roster that we built didn't really get to play together a lot. In game one, we lose Ticket Gaines to a broken hand. Halfway through, right as Ticket's about to come back, we lose VJ Bailey, one of the best shooters in the country, ninth best three-point shooter in the country. We lose him to another broken hand. But the guys never relented. They never folded. We had some tough losses, but the guys just kept getting better. And, we got to have a respectable season in league play, still beneath our standard, but really excited about us continuing to take the next step moving forward.
Definitely. And, obviously you had mentioned Gaines and that next step forward. I believe it was 17-6. You guys were with him on the floor. Just kind of his recent announcement, he's coming back to play. How big is that obviously for you guys in the program as, again, you guys continue to make strides moving forward?
Yeah, so I coached him when he first stepped on campus as a freshman at Tennessee. I coached him all 4 years of his career, two as an assistant, two as a head coach. And his maturity and growth it's so impressive. Even when he's out with a broken hand, to watch him go through his rehab every day in full on sweats, working out with his right hand, to hearing him in the huddles. I mean, it's time. I'm leaving our coaches' huddles and I'll come back to our bench. And he's sitting in my seat talking to the guys. He was just so engaged and locked in. It's no accident that when he came back, we win 7 games, 7-2 with him in the lineup. When he got back, he can guard 1 through 5 in college. He's played 1 through 5 for us on offense. He knows all of our stuff. He's turned himself into a really good shooter, shot 41% last season, this year in the mid-30s. But, 23 points at Richmond, game-winning layup after a game-winning steal. He's just a cornerstone piece of what we're building. And super proud of his development, his maturation over his 4 years going into his fifth.
Absolutely. And again, I'm not, I don't want to, I'm not going to go down the roster, but there's just one other guy I do specifically like Polite that I did want to talk about. Again, I feel like one of the more improved guys in the nation, almost in every category. Just talk about, again, someone who came in, as a freshman here, George Mason, again, continually making those strides, improving his game. And obviously he was a huge factor for you guys this year.
Getting healthy was big. Getting healthy was big. He played his first 2 seasons at Mason unhealthy, as freshman year. And then last season, he had hip surgery a week after we got here, 2 Marches ago. And he was in and out of the lineup and rotation last season. And then he got healthy. We of our 13 losses, 4 of them were without our starting point guard. He didn't play. And it's now, I think he has put the Atlantic 10 on notice that he's a point guard that warrants respect and he has high capabilities. I think he should have been the most improved player in the league. The numbers say so. The improvement say so. And but now it's about taking the next step. I think he absolutely took it to the level of respectability. I want him to take it to the level where he feels like and he knows that he kind of walks, steps onto the court like he's in the same stratosphere as Ace and Yuri. I think that's the next step, for him, where everyone in the country thinks in A10 point guards, they think Yuri Collins, Ace Baldwin, as they should. I want it to be, next season they think of Ronald Polite.
Absolutely. No, and I think obviously, like you said, he has opportunity for that. It was just, like I said, he was just one of those guys that popped out for me watching you guys throughout the year. And, for you, this is, you're going into your third year. I feel like now, it's kind of, George Mason basketball now, it's kind of, you have your mark on it, Kim English, going into this offseason. What has been, I don't want to talk about the portal and all that. That is college basketball. It is what it is. How comfortable are you, you looking back to your first offseason to where you're going into now? And again, kind of what your needs are moving forward, what you're looking on, looking to improve upon, whether that be personnel or not.
Yeah, so obviously with experience, you learn a lot. You learn a lot with experience. You learn a lot through failures and mistakes. And I've made my fair share. We've made our fair share. And you're right. Our culture, the structure of our program is starting to become, our players are starting to become us. The way we play, it goes from philosophy to actuality. I had this picture of the way I wanted to play. And I say my first season, we more played offensively like we want to play. But with injuries, we got bigger. We had to kind of change the way we played offensively for the most part and evolved. We evolved through the season, but I feel really good and confident about where we're going as we continue to build this roster. I'm really excited about us to continue to take the next step. We finished ninth our first year, finished fifth this season. I think it's a huge advantage to finish in the top 4 in the Atlantic 10. Obviously you want to compete for a championship, but when you go into a tournament setting, to have that extra day to prepare to play, it's a huge advantage. As you see, 1, 2, 3, 4 went to the semifinals. I think in the Atlantic 10, I think in the Big East. So it's an advantage. It's something we're going to keep aiming for.
Last question really for me, you can't talk about obviously George Mason, this year without talking about Oduro. I know he's going to explore, whether it be the NBA, but just to have a guy like him, I think he's the first 2-time All A-10 selection in program history. To have a guy, be so successful in a George Mason uniform, you be such a big part of that. What does that tell you, not just about him, but about the program and the caliber of players you guys can have?
Yeah, it's exciting. He's the most successful player. I think he's the best player in George Mason's Atlantic 10 era. And he's an incredible young man to coach, a great teammate, a great student, a great son, a great brother. I think he'll be looked at as an A-10 legend one day. And if he decides to come back, I think he's going to take an even bigger step. As good as Josh Oduro's been his 2 seasons with us, I still think he's only scratching the surface. This summer, if he goes pro or not, working on changing his body, absolutely sculpting his body, continuing to extend his range 3. He still had a first-team all-conference season. He didn't have a great summer. He had a concussion this summer playing pickup. He had a really bad back injury this summer. All that on top of a spring where, our usage of Josh Oduro was at a high clip last season. He didn't get the time off last spring. He went straight into the NBA pre-draft process. So he kind of worked his way into conference play. He didn't start the season like gangbusters the way, it may be expected. But he got better and he improved, and really excited for whatever is his way. And we have a plan. We have a plan if Josh is back, if he's not back. We're going to be fine, but obviously we'd love to have him.
Absolutely. Well, listen, Coach, I appreciate the time. Like I said, I know it's a busy time, but, it's been a joy, obviously, watching you guys play, the improvements you guys made. Looking forward, obviously to the future George Mason basketball as well, but we'll be in touch. But I appreciate the time.
Thanks, Nathan. I appreciate it, man. God bless.